Imagine this. You're walking through a city on what seems like an ordinary day. People are talking, cars pass by, shops are open, and nothing feels unusual. Then everything goes quiet. The silence feels wrong. You look toward the horizon and suddenly a blinding white flash lights up the entire sky. For a split second, it feels like a second sun has appeared. Instinctively, you cover your eyes. A few seconds later, the shockwave arrives. The blast throws you backwards as windows explode, concrete cracks, and cars flip onto their sides. The air fills with dust so thick you can barely breathe. You lie on the ground, stunned, your ears ringing and your heart racing. After a few moments, you slowly stand up and look down at your body. To your surprise, you don't have any broken bones, major burns, or life-threatening injuries. Against every odd imaginable, you've survived a nuclear explosion. A wave of relief washes over you and you can't help but smile. I actually made it. But the bomb wasn't finished with you. While you were checking yourself for injuries, something invisible had already passed straight through your body. Radiation. You can't see it, hear it, smell it, or even feel it. Unlike a bullet, radiation doesn't tear through your skin, and unlike fire, it doesn't burn you instantly. Instead, it silently passes through your muscles, organs, blood vessels, and even your bones. Every second it's inside you, it collides with billions of atoms. Those collisions release enormous amounts of energy on an incredibly tiny scale. Energy powerful enough to tear apart the DNA inside your cells. DNA is the instruction manual that keeps you alive. It tells every cell when to divide, how to repair itself, how to replace damaged tissue, and how to keep your organs functioning. Now those instructions are being shredded. Some cells repair the damage successfully, others repair themselves incorrectly, and millions simply die. The strangest part is that you still feel perfectly normal. You begin walking away from the destroyed city as people shout around you. Sirens echo through the streets, and buildings continue collapsing in the distance. You convince yourself the worst is already over. It isn't. About an hour later, your stomach begins to feel uncomfortable. You blame the adrenaline. Maybe you haven't eaten all day. Maybe you're just dehydrated. You keep walking, but the feeling grows stronger. Your stomach twists, cold sweat forms across your forehead, and without warning, you suddenly throw up. You wipe your mouth and try to catch your breath, convincing yourself it was probably the dust or the stress. 5 minutes later, it happens again. Now you're struggling to stay on your feet. A pounding headache builds behind your eyes. Your entire body feels unusually weak, and every movement requires more effort than it should. This is often the first stage of severe acute radiation sickness. Ironically, these symptoms aren't caused because your body has become radioactive. They're caused because millions of rapidly dividing cells have already been damaged beyond repair. The higher the radiation dose, the sooner these symptoms appear. Someone exposed to an overwhelming amount of radiation may begin vomiting within minutes, and that's one of the first clues doctors use to estimate how severe the exposure was. Several exhausting hours pass before the vomiting finally slows. Every bone in your body aches, and eventually you collapse into bed and fall asleep. Then something remarkable happens. The next morning, you wake up feeling better. The nausea is gone. The vomiting has stopped. Your headache has almost disappeared. You sit up, stretch, and even manage to eat breakfast. Relief washes over you. Maybe everyone was wrong. Maybe your body fought it off. Maybe radiation isn't as dangerous as people say. Unfortunately, this is the cruelest trick radiation ever plays. While you finally feel normal again, your body is quietly losing the battle. Deep inside your bones, your bone marrow is dying. Bone marrow is where your body produces new blood cells. White blood cells that fight infection, red blood cells that carry oxygen, and platelets that stop bleeding after an injury. Radiation has crippled that factory. The blood cells already circulating through your body are still doing their jobs, which is why you feel normal. But they have a limited lifespan. Hour by hour, their numbers continue to fall, and your immune system is slowly disappearing. You just don't know it yet. 3 days after the explosion, you wake up feeling exhausted. The kind of exhaustion that sleep can't fix. Simply standing beside your bed leaves you breathing heavily. Then you notice something on your pillow: hair. The radiation isn't attacking your hair directly. It's destroying the follicles that grow it. But hair loss is only the first visible sign. The real damage is still hidden inside your body. Your white blood cell count continues falling. Without enough of them, your body can no longer defend itself. A tiny cut on your finger becomes swollen, red, and painful. Normally, your immune system would destroy the bacteria within hours. Now, the bacteria begin winning. You develop a fever as your body desperately tries to fight an infection with almost no soldiers left. Then another problem appears. Bruises. Large dark bruises begin appearing on your arms and legs even though you don't remember bumping into anything. Your gums start bleeding while brushing your teeth, and your nose begins bleeding for no reason at all. Inside your bones, platelet production has almost stopped. Your blood is slowly losing its ability to clot, and every hour that passes, the damage spreads further. Within the next few days, your condition deteriorates rapidly. The fever never goes away. Every breath feels heavier than the last. You can barely keep food down, and even drinking water has become a struggle. Your body no longer has enough healthy cells to repair itself. Every infection grows worse. Every bruise becomes darker. Every day, you're weaker than the one before. Doctors try everything they can. They give you antibiotics to fight the infections, blood transfusions to replace what you've lost, IV fluids to keep you hydrated, and pain medication to make you comfortable. But there is one thing they can't replace: your bone marrow. Your body is slowly running out of the cells it needs to stay alive. Soon, even getting out of bed becomes impossible. You spend most of the day drifting in and out of sleep. Sometimes you hear voices around you, but you don't have the strength to respond. Your breathing becomes slower, your heartbeat weaker, and your body begins shutting down one organ at a time. Eventually, the infections overwhelm what remains of your immune system. Your blood pressure drops, your organs begin to fail, your breathing slows to just a few shallow breaths. Then, it stops. You survived the blast. You survived the shockwave. You survived the collapsing buildings. But you never survived the radiation. The invisible particles that passed through your body in the first few seconds had already sealed your fate. Long before the hair fell out, long before the fever began, and long before the bleeding started, billions of cells had already been damaged beyond repair. That's what makes nuclear radiation so terrifying. It doesn't always kill you instantly. Sometimes it quietly destroys your body's ability to repair itself, turning every passing day into a slow countdown until there's simply nothing left to keep you alive.